Hi, I'm Paul Scott. Today I'm going to be doing Google's most searched ... Agile. So, what is Agile? Agile is a noun, it's not a verb. However, in software development world, it's always being used as a verb, which is a bit annoying. So this was meant to say, what is Agile methodology? Well, Agile methodology is the way in which we're developing software in the modern world in a way which gets jobs done faster and produces a great outcome. And this one's also, is Agile working? Well, Agile working is really, it's a principle. It's using principles of Agile to get stuff done really quickly. It's trying to avoid the traditional way that software gets developed using something called waterfall, which takes a very long time. Agile speeds things up. What is Agile Scrum? Well, Agile Scrum is a framework and a set of tools which people use to actually execute projects in an agile way. The problem with Scrum, though, is it kind of defeats a lot of the objectives of Agile because it creates a lot of complexity and it actually slows down the process a little, as you will discover shortly. What is Agile Principles? Also poor English. Anyway, Agile Principles, there are 4. And the first one is about producing working software ahead of waiting for documentation to be completed before you actually do it. The second principle is about a focus on interactions, what the user or the customer is actually doing, rather than worrying about the processes. The third principle is around customers and working with customers throughout the process rather than just at the beginning and just at the end. And the fourth one is about not having the constraints of a project plan, but focusing on actually delivering outcomes. So working in very short sprints, this is often called, rather than thinking in terms of a long project plan. Next, Agile development. So, does Agile development work for every kind of project? Well, no, it doesn't really. It only works on projects where you can get close to users and you can define problems that need to be fixed very quickly. If you're having to develop, say, a product end-to-end using Agile, sometimes it can get a little bit frustrating because people want to try and imagine every single feature and function that's going to get delivered before they make a start. That doesn't work with Agile. You need to really be able to break things down into little tiny problems you're going to solve so you can see an outcome from it and then move on to the next thing. Does Agile development work? Yes, it does, provided you adhere to the 4 core principles of Agile and don't get bogged down in some of the nefarious things that tend to crop up when you're doing software development. So for example, if you're working in a highly regulated environment, you quite often get caught up in having to deal with security and compliance. That really doesn't work terribly well with Agile because that slows down the whole process. So does it work every time? No, it doesn't. Not for every kind of project. Does Agile development reduce risk? Well, again, if it's done properly, it will reduce risk because you don't have to do the whole thing at once. You don't have to be thinking in terms of, how are we going to produce this whole product end to end? If you can just reduce it down to single problems at a time, you will reduce the risk. Does Agile development improve productivity? Well, yes, it does. Again, if you're using the principles and you're trained to actually work in an Agile way. The worst possible scenario is attempting to do Agile and not really understanding the principles of Agile first. And then, does Amazon use Agile development? I suppose they should, but the truth is they're probably too big an organization to worry themselves around using Agile principles. They just get stuff done the way they want to get stuff done. That's it.